Hey, are you guys up for a spicy breakfast? Today we are making a Chile Relleno Casserole. Basically, we're taking all your favorite flavors from Mexican-style Chiles Rellenos, and we are turning it into a casserole that's perfect for breakfast or brunch. It's absolutely delicious. I think you're gonna love it. So let me show you how to make it. All right, let's get cooking, my friends. I'm getting hungry. So to make a Chile Relleno casserole, we need to start with chilies. I actually often make this with poblano peppers. Poblano peppers are fantastic stuffing pepper, very traditionally used for making Chile Rellenos. But you can use any type of stuffing pepper. Realistically, you could make this with bell peppers if you wanted to. But I'm making this today with roasted hatch chilies. I got some big Jim peppers that are roasted and super delicious. They're perfect for stuffing as well. The key is you want to have them roasted. So you can get pre-roasted or you can roast your own chilies. And I'll put a link up top here. You can go check out how to roast chilies on the website. Super easy. But here I have about a pound of hatch chilies that are roasted. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the stems and some of the innards. Get rid of really like all the seeds, and you can leave them in there if you want to. They don't really affect too much. Some people don't like the seeds too much because they float around a bit. But you can see easily how they just kind of scrape out like so. And you don't have to go crazy. Just kind of remove the majority of those seeds here. That's yum. All right, got the last of my chilies here, removing all the seeds. And scraping out just a lot of that. All right, so let me get rid of all this from my cutting board here. All right, so next we're gonna go ahead and chop these. You can cut them into strips if you'd like, or just give them a rough chop. It's all going into the casserole, so you don't have to go crazy if you don't want to. There's a huge flavor in roasted chilies. This is like the core, the focus flavor of your Chile Relleno casserole. It's going to be absolutely delicious. All right, I've got my chilies nicely chopped up here. And so go ahead and transfer your chopped roasted chilies to a bowl, like so. All right, set them aside. And next, let's get our cooking station set up. All right, I got my cooking station all set up here. Next, we're gonna go ahead and make our sauce element. So here I have a 10-inch skillet set up to a good medium heat. And go ahead and add about a tablespoon of olive oil or so. And we're gonna cook down, here's a medium-sized onion that I chopped into the pan. And I have a couple of jalapeno peppers. I'm adding the jalapenos for flavor, but also for a little bit of extra heat to the dish. The hatch chilies that I'm using really aren't very spicy, but you can spice it up this way with extra spicy chilies, pretty much to whatever preference you want to. So hey, if you spicy chili heads really want to go for like ghost pepper heat, go for it. This is when you add it in. All right, so I'll go ahead and cook this down for about 5 minutes or so until the onions and peppers soften. All right, next we're gonna go ahead and add 4 cloves of chopped garlic. And garlic's one of those ingredients that you can add more or less, usually more for me. And we're gonna go ahead and cook this down for 30 seconds to a minute or so until you can, of course, smell that gorgeous garlic blooming in the room. It's one of my favorite things, as you well know. Yummy. All right, now we've got our seasonings, and I have a teaspoon of Mexican oregano. And I have a teaspoon of ancho chili powder. And a teaspoon of paprika, and a half teaspoon of cumin. You can use other seasoning blends here, really to your preference, but this is kind of a preferred blend for me for this particular recipe. And you can add more if you want to. Don't forget a bit of salt and pepper. Just gonna let these spices bloom a little bit in the hot pan. All right, just give it a nice stir. Next I have a pound of tomatoes, and you can use fresh tomatoes or canned tomatoes. This particular day I'm using canned. I'm using fire roasted tomatoes, which I think are just outstanding. But if your garden's going crazy with tomatoes, fresh is great. So go ahead and stir everything together, like so. And this is your sauce base. All right, you can break it all apart. And gonna go ahead and reduce the heat, and we're gonna let it simmer for at least 10 minutes to let the flavors develop. And you can really simmer longer if you want to. If you simmer for a very long time, you might need to add a little bit of liquid to the pan if it gets too dried out. But let's let these tomatoes break down and get nice and saucy. Hey, while this is simmering, I have a quick time saver tip for you. If you can actually skip the sauce element of this and use a pre-made sauce, something like a ranchero sauce or an enchilada sauce, those would be very easy. You can just heat them up in the pan and then proceed with the recipe. A lot of times I'll make big batch sauces and freeze it, so this recipe is perfect for those kind of sauces. All right, my sauce has been simmering nicely for about 15 minutes, actually. So the next step is to remove half the sauce, because we want to layer this. So I'm going to move this over to a bowl temporarily, just half the sauce. All right, so go ahead and move, just layer this up. You're going to spread the remaining sauce in the bottom of the pan, and you can remove it from heat at this point. And this is a one-pan dish, so I'm using the same cast iron pan to bake this. We're gonna go ahead and bake this. But if you want, you can move it over to a casserole dish or just something that you can bake for however you really want to serve it. But okay, I've got this spread around the bottom of my pan. So the next thing we want to do is we're going to layer on half of the roasted chilies. Just kind of spread it around nicely, like so. And I also have 2 cups of cheese, so I'm going to go ahead and add a cup of cheese. All right, now we're going to go add the remaining sauce over the top of the casserole. And you can puree your sauce if you want it to be much more saucy, but it's going to break down. And I love a nice chunky sauce for this. Yes, look at that. All right, so then go ahead and add your remaining roasted chilies. Spread it around. Looks good, huh? And now add half the remaining cheese. Save a little bit for the topping. But next, also I have 4 eggs. We're gonna go ahead and beat the eggs. I'm gonna scrambled egg mixture. It's gonna really make this casserole awesome. All right, so go ahead and just pour it right in. You can fit more eggs if you want to. 4 eggs is a really good amount for us. And then you can go ahead and just kind of tilt the pan to really get all the egg to evenly spread throughout your casserole, like so. A little salt and pepper on top if you want. And if you wanted a little hot sauce, you can add a little hot sauce at this time. I know you guys like hot sauce. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and add my remaining cheese over the top. Sometimes a little paprika on top is kind of nice for a color as well, or chili flake. All right. All right, looks good. All right, so next, go ahead and preheat your oven, which I've already got preheated, by the way. It's heated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm gonna go ahead and bake this for 20 to 25 minutes or until the egg sets, and then we will take a look. So this recipe is super customizable. Aside from being able to use different chilies and spicing it up as much as you want to, you can add other ingredients to really round it out to your preference. One of my favorites to include is refried beans. I think it adds a really nice flavor element to it. But you can also add a protein. Definitely one of my favorites is spicy Mexican chorizo. I just absolutely delicious, and I have a homemade version of that, yum. But you can also add chopped chicken, and that really kind of makes it a little bit fuller of a dish. So let's talk about serving. This casserole can be served just as it is. Just take a slice and maybe serve it with a little bit of hot sauce. It's perfect for breakfast or for brunch. But also, I really like it a little bit like a nice slice on warmed tortillas, sort of like a breakfast or brunch taco. It's absolutely delicious that way. It's also really good with crispy tortilla chips. So I'd love to hear how you serve yours. Check it out, my friends, nice and bubbly. It is, it looks amazing. It smells awesome in here. Chile Relleno Casserole, yum. I cannot wait to dig in. All right, let's give it a taste. Nice and cheesy. Seriously awesome roasted chili flavor. You're gonna love this one, yum. Chile Relleno Casserole, my friends. I hope you guys love it as much as I do. It's definitely delicious. But hey, if you guys are looking for another breakfast recipe, you gotta check out my chilaquiles recipe. It's super delicious, definitely one of Patty's favorites. But if you're looking for more of a scrambled egg casserole type dish, you gotta try my menemen recipe. It's a Turkish version really of this. Very delicious, very easy to make, and I think you will love it. So, all right, I hope to see you in the kitchen next time. Take care, Mike from Chili Pepper Madness. Bye.